It's the season of delays, ladies and gentlemen, along with the reaction to the Smash Bros. Announcement of Byleth, Alienware's stupid comment to their nut switch, and the confusion about the Morbius trailer. All this and more on Wumpa Time. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of Wumpa Time. My name is Canadian Guy, and I'm joined by my co-host, Shemp.
Hi, it's me. Hello.
It's him. He's here every
Hello.
week. So we're going to start off right away with our quick news. So why don't you start with the first one, because you're a little bit more familiar with this franchise than I am. So what happened?
All right. So again, we covered this a while ago, a couple episodes ago, but again, it was just still a very basic rumor from one guy. And that was about Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC. Now it's in the news again, because multiple sources have come forward, mainly people who are very familiar with how Sony works, and they have leaked tons of Sony or PlayStation news way before time. So they're pretty credible. I just forget their names off the top of my head. But they say, again, Horizon is coming to PC around... Someone claimed around February 2020. I doubt that that's going to happen, but
yeah,
other
I doubt
people are
that
saying
too.
2020.
Yeah, I definitely doubt 2020, but from what I had heard before, because this is not the first time this rumor has popped up. This rumor had popped up before as well, and it was from the same leaker that leaked that Death Stranding would be coming to PC, and then that happened.
And now, yeah, it's available for pre-orders. Maybe I think that's what they're saying. Like Horizon will be available for pre-order in 2020.
Well, that makes sense.
Because Death Stranding and Horizon both run off the Decima engine, which is from Guerrilla, which is a Sony studio. And if you look at the Steam page on Death Stranding, it does say Death Stranding, yada yada, copyright Sony Computer Entertainment. So Sony still is like owning the rights, but they're not publishing it, which also confuses me. Like 505 Games is publishing it.
Yeah.
So I don't really get that. I'm wondering if they're also gonna publish Horizon on PC. But this is weird. I think from here on, from the PS5 generation, from now on, I think it looks like Xbox and PlayStation are starting to dabble with putting their games on other platforms. Like we could probably see Master Chief on Switch.
Maybe. There was apparently a rumor a while back too that said that Xbox was considering bringing Halo to PlayStation. In fact, but they retracted on that, and I was just
for
like,
obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. Maybe they grew a brain. No, I'm sorry. That would absolutely just be suicide to Xbox to just let Halo.
Why aren't our consoles selling?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
We'll have to see, because it seems like PlayStation is looking towards to be able to expand within the Decima engine. It seems like maybe any game made within Decima could go to PC, because if the two PlayStation exclusive games now, Detroit Becomes Human is also gone to PC as well, right?
That's on the Epic Games Store.
Right. So that's very interesting. This is all very interesting stuff to see how that's working out. And next up, our next quick piece of news was Left 4 Dead 3 is not actually in development. Like,
got you. Just kidding.
HTC, the VR company, they had said that there was Left 4 Dead 3 in development, and Valve, the actual developers of Left 4 Dead, were like, no.
Yeah. I don't understand that, because what HTC is a huge company. They make phones, they make VR, they make all kinds of consumer electronics, and they're like, hey guys, just to let you know, Left 4 Dead 3, it's being worked on, and it's gonna be like a VR game. It's gonna be pretty cool. And Valve was just like, what? No. Not only did they say it's not in development, but they said, like, verbatim, we haven't worked on anything Left 4 Dead related in years. So like Left 4 Dead is not in their interest. I don't know what is in their interest besides the one Half-Life game that finally came out. They're not working on anything besides that.
No, they're not. The Steam or Valve in general, they've just been making the money on the Steam sales, and just kind of like, what do we develop? Nothing.
Let's just chill, I guess.
Yeah. So some of you also might wonder, what was the best-selling game overall in the decade? Now, number one was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Of course.
But Shemp, overall, how many times did what franchise hit the top 10 list so many times? What was the franchise name?
Let's see. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of a little franchise not a lot of people might know. It goes by the name of Call of Duty. It's kind of under the radar. I'm just lying. Call of Duty. Oh my god. And the top 15.
How many times did it show up in the how many times in the decade from what technically from 2009ish, because there's people who debate what's the start of this decade, from late 2009 to 2020. How many times did Call of Duty show up in the top 10 list?
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 10. 10 times. 10 Call of Duty games have been the best-selling game 15 times for a decade.
Yeah, now that's the top in the top 15 or top. That's not the top 10, but it's the top 15, right?
No, top 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's seven in the top 10. That's still too much.
That is insane.
Whoa, 7 times. Wait. Whoa, hold on. What, really?
Number 10 was Minecraft.
Number 10 was Minecraft. I was confused by number 2 being Black Ops 1. I was like, that's not modern. Oh, it's a decade, duh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So when Activision says that Call of Duty is their moneymaker, they're not kidding. They're
not lying. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, Mario Kart's in there, and Skyrim's in there. But it's nice to see Breath of the Wild in there too. That's really good. No, all of these games are like it says from 2010 to 2019. So all of these games are like current gen. None of them are like PS3 or anything, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's just sad to say that investors and stuff just look at the top 10 and say, hey, would you look at that? Shooty, shooty, bang, bang. It makes lots of money.
You know what? You're not wrong. Hey, I got an idea for Zelda.
This is great. Awesome. And new copies of the Witcher books. In fact, 500,000 new copies. Because if you guys didn't know, the Witcher franchise was based off of a book series. And Shem, you told me before we started that apparently they're hard to find.
Yeah, so we went to a couple of bookstores like in and out of our area, and we just could not find any Witcher books. Like you go on Amazon and you could find like the box set of I think one of the series or the whole series for like $25, but it sells out like that. Yeah. Now, the thing that also kind of shocks me is that well, first off, we know the Witcher series on Netflix is not based off the game, it's based off the books, which is really nice. But I didn't know that between each game, there's another series, not just another book. There's another series of books between each game. So there's three or four series of books for The Witcher.
It's you know what, now that you mention it, and they're printing 500,000 new copies, I might actually pick this up, like the whole set, and try to read it, because I've been looking for a new book series to read for a while now, and I think that this could catch my interest pretty well.
Especially with how much there are, dude. You're gonna be like, you're never not gonna be like, oh, what should I read? I'm out of books. Oh, there's a mountain of Witcher I could go grab real quick.
Yeah, that's right. Yay. So we just left the season of giving with the holidays, and we are now in the season of delays.
Oh, I hate this holiday.
So we're getting now into the main meat of Wumpa Time today, and if you haven't known, in the past 3 days, 2 days, well, by the time you guys get this, it'll be 3 days. A bunch of major games have been delayed.
For the only reason we were given was just like, oh, we got to polish. So is that it?
Yeah. So the 4 games that we have here now, I think there's a few more in between here. So bear with me if you guys in the comment section or listening to this in chat, if I don't say the game that you guys had thought had been delayed, just comment below so that if you want to go check out to see what other games got delayed, please go check it out. But from what we saw, Iron Man VR for the PlayStation, one of the big VR sellers, got delayed. Final Fantasy VII got delayed a month, so not so bad. The Avengers game got delayed, but the biggest one that got punched in the face is Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed all the way to September.
Yeah.
6 months.
6 months. Now, do you think that like the recent uproar popularity of The Witcher may have done something to this, or do you think it's something completely unrelated?
I think it's something completely unrelated.
Okay.
I think now I'm not sure how far back Iron Man VR and Avengers got pushed back. I'm not sure. The Final Fantasy VII game pushed back. It only got pushed back a month, so that's not so bad. But Cyberpunk being pushed back to 6 months, and just the fact that they're getting delayed now, this is where I think the reason of all these delays is because I think that has to do with something with the next generation of consoles.
Oh, really?
I think so, because think about it. Cyberpunk got pushed back to September when all the consoles have been rumored to be releasing in October, November, December.
Ooh.
It's borderline suicide to put a game on a previous generation on the eve of a brand new thing of consoles.
Well, do you think they have the time and money to just put it on the PS5? Because we've seen what the PS5 is capable of. If these PS4 games are like, I doubt that they're going to be launch titles for the PS5 because, you know, they've already invested so much money into making it for the PS4. So I don't think it's going to the PS5, but if in some world they did manage to do that, do you know how like how do I say it? They've already had a lot of promised sales with the current generation, and if they just put it on the PS5 and completely negate the PS4, that's probably going to hurt sales. Like Cyberpunk specifically, not like Iron Man VR or anything. Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do that. I still think it is going to come out for the PS4, but I think this is a testament to the idea of it still being backwards compatible. I got a feeling that what they're going to do is that they're going to release Cyberpunk, and what they're probably going to do is that it's probably going to work on the base PS4 running at 1080p 30 frames, and then they're probably going to release it for the PS4 Pro, which is probably going to be 2K 30 frames, a little bit better.
Subpar 2K.
You know 2K, or maybe checkerboarded 4K 30 frames. And then I got a feeling when you play it on the PlayStation 5, it'll be 4K 60.
Ooh,
and like
4K
native
60.
4K.
We still don't know the full power of the PS5, but if it's 4K 60, I'll be impressed.
Because it'll be 4K 60 of technically a previous generation game.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I guess same with Final Fantasy.
Right, because when they started developing with Cyberpunk, they started developing. They optimized it for the PS4, right? And I'm sure they already have playtest demos and stuff where it's all optimized for the PlayStation 4. But they probably tested it on the PS5 and they could see, hey, we could push this. We could really, really push this because it was initially only optimized for the PS4. But the PS5 is only a upgraded PS4 in terms of components. It's not like the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 2 or even the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 with the cell architecture. It's just like, hey, we ramped everything up, right? We took all the current components we had and made it better, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at all the delays.
Is there more?
No. I'm looking at what got delayed to what. The Avengers got delayed from May to September. Again, yeah. And the thing is, I 100% suspect that the reason this game got delayed is because of all the online stuff, because they did push that there is going to be an online mode, and I think it's more like a melee focused like Destiny clone or something like that. That's what people have been talking about. So I think the single player is already done, but maybe they're just trying to do something with multiplayer. I don't know. This game doesn't look that promising to me. It just looks like it's going to come out. But Iron Man VR got delayed from, what was it? It was delayed from February to May. So it's filling up the Avengers slot, but Half-Life Alyx is going to be coming out first. So that might hurt it. Because I mean, people are gonna be like, oh, I got a full game on my VR. Why would I buy the Iron Man one? But wait, no, never mind. This is only on PlayStation, so Half-Life isn't coming on PS4. So I think it'll be fine.
So it's hitting a different audience.
Yeah, that's it. It's still weird that Half-Life isn't coming into the PS4.
I mean, they did say that it's not out of the question that it won't ever come to the PS4, right? So, but yeah, the Iron Man VR filling in with the Avengers game, that's probably just a. They're probably like, well, how can we, Square probably was approached by PlayStation. I got a feeling that Square approached all the different studios that were about to release these games, Cyberpunk and Avengers. In fact, do we have a release date for Ghost of Tsushima?
Yes, we do. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the release date for Ghost because
it still just says 2020.
Right.
Oh, summer 2020.
Summer 2020. I wouldn't be shocked if they delayed that to fall.
Honestly, I don't know, man. Ghost of Tsushima has already been delayed so much. I mean, so is Final Fantasy. That's fair.
Right. I got a feeling with Ghost, like, I'm looking at Ghost and I'm looking at how it looks, and it looks gorgeous. I don't see it running nicely on the PS4. I don't see it. Like, do you see all the leaf particle effects that are constantly blowing in the wind?
Yeah.
And the fire and stuff like that. I could just hear my fan on my PlayStation 4 taking off like a helicopter. Because I got the Pro, and the Pro is so loud, and I can just hear the GPU melting. I don't see how Ghost can run like the way that they've been showing, because obviously they're showing, they've been showing development, right? Development stages, which is higher quality. I don't see it. But there is another aspect to these delays that a lot of people don't really think about, and it's something that whenever you say delay, a developer cringes a little on the inside. That's because of another C word, and the word is crunch.
Crunch time. Captain Crunch time.
Oh, boy.
I cannot imagine what all these studios are going through.
It's bad. So if you guys are unfamiliar, I'm sure most of you are, but if you're unfamiliar, crunch time is when the hours at your work get increased. So normally your normal work day can be anywhere between 8 hours, maybe 6 hours, depending on what type of. So we'll say 6 to 8 hours, 10 if you're like working real hard. So 6 to 10 hours. Crunch time goes anywhere from minimum 10 hours to whatever the state's legal limit is, and then some.
Yeah. So this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different studios, probably with like another studio or two attached to them, helping them make the game. So that's like, let's throw a ballpark number, 2, 4, 6, 8 to 16 studios. Just getting hammered, trying to polish up this game. Not even polish. Maybe there's something like catastrophe, like something very, very wrong with the games. Like the Iron Man VR, the studio making it, they just said, hey, in order to deliver our vision and meet the high expectations, we delayed it. So that's extremely vague. That doesn't really tell me anything.
Yeah, and the problem is that sometimes they encounter bugs in the system that are too deep. Like, for example, I can't remember which game it was, but they were developing the game, and they got like 3/4 of the way through, and they found this glitch in like a core mechanic of the game that basically required like recoding of almost the entire game, like with how physics work and how the game functions in general, and there was no way to patch it out. It just wasn't working. And they spent like 3 months just trying to fix this one glitch. I can't remember what game it was.
I think you're talking about Uncharted 1.
Was it Uncharted 1?
Because in Uncharted 1, Naughty Dog said that the section where the boulder's chasing you, there was a bug in that section that would just crash the game, and they, like, for 3 months they could not figure out what was crashing the game. So what they ended up doing is, I think they made the cutscene trigger shorter, so it could pass QA testing at Sony. And so that bug is still in there. Like, if you do a certain thing, you'll just crash the game, and they have no idea why. Even in the Nathan Drake collection, the bug is still in there. Like, Bluepoint even couldn't figure out what was going on.
That's really interesting. And yeah, stuff like that just happens in code. Now, that crunch also produces bad coding because it's sloppy, right?
Sonic 06.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because what happens is that you go to crunch time, because usually what people do is that they code the game, and then after they code the game, they usually try to clean up the code. They remove redundancies and they compress everything so that when someone else comes along to go to read it, it's more legible, and
it makes it a lot easier for other people, and it makes the file size smaller. But you mess up one little thing, it's a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, one thing gets changed and the game code doesn't like what you changed, then the game just doesn't work. That's the beauty of coding. You can talk to any coder, they'll say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was one, like, one of my favorite sayings. I heard it from a message board when I was like 12, and it was 3 little bugs in the code, 3 tiny little bugs. You take one down, patch it around, 947 bugs in the code.
That's really good.
And I was like, yeah, I heard that and I laughed my head off because it's true, right? So, and also, but it causes 2 things. So if you clean up the code and you mess up, what basically happens is that something doesn't work. However, if you don't clean up your code and then someone comes along and tries to fix that code, if there's a minor bug that needs to be fixed, it could just be a value change. It could be, hey, we need this boulder to move faster, or hey, we need this to move slower, or hey, this, that, and the other. And the coding itself could be easy, but someone else could be looking at it and say, how did this person code it, change the wrong value on something, and the whole game crashes. Not just that section, the whole game.
And then they go, hey, at least the boulder runs. At least the boulder goes faster.
Exactly. And it could be as simple as that. And that can cause for more issues and more time consumption and more problems. And last year, remember, I believe it was maybe not last year, but the year before. I'm trying to remember. It would have been over a year and a half ago, technically, when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Remember, Rockstar was under huge fire for their crunch time. They were asking upwards to, and the rumor was 80 to 100 hours per week.
That's insane. That's ungodly.
That is absolutely insane. And now, whether or not that's true or not, there have been reports of similar cases, not just from Rockstar, but from many other studios where crunch happens. Now, I understand crunch is a thing where it happens, right? Like, but that's with any project. That's with films. That's with even like if you look at your college
retail.
Yeah, retail. There's crunch time. But what you try to do is you try to minimize crunch as much as possible. I was under crunch when I worked at my previous studio, and it sucks. It sucks.
No, crunch time is not good. Even YouTubers, like both of us, go through crunch, and it's awful.
Yeah, it is. It sucks, and people think, oh well, you don't understand. People think like, oh, you set your own schedule. Yeah, not really. If you want to survive.
Yeah.
It's like if I choose, can I not upload in December? Sure, I could decide not to upload in December, but that's the highest peak for advertising AdSense is December. There are some people that literally will sit down and upload. It will make 2 videos per day in December. That's it. They upload sparingly through the year, and then November, December happens, and it's like 2 videos a day.
Yeah, so December's a good time for viewers, not so much for content creators.
Yeah, so it's like,
But speaking of not so good, it's coming up.
Oh, no.
The reveal of the newest Smash Brothers character was met with overwhelmingly
confusion.
Like, I don't know if you saw the video, but there was a compilation video showing all of the reactions of the DLC fighters
at the New York. At the New York.
Everyone's like freaking out over everyone, like Joker, Hero, Banjo, even Terry, and then Byleth gets shown, and then they go, woo! And then just stop. Like, no one says anything. They just watch it, and then a couple people walk away. I mean, I get it. There's already a lot of Fire Emblem characters in the game. There's a lot of Pokemon characters in the game. There's a lot of Mario characters in the game. There's a lot of specific franchises in the game. And I would have been fine with another one. But I think, because Sakurai said that, hey, we've had all the fighters chosen from the very beginning, and they said that there's going to be more fighters. So I hope at least Crash gets in there.
Yeah. So I do want to talk a little bit about the controversy of Byleth. So I feel like that there's a lot of muddied waters. Before we get to like the next 6 fighters, I just want to take a step back for a second. First off, I want to clarify some things. I don't hate Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, me neither.
And
I think it's really cool. Fire Emblem's really, really cool.
Yeah, and I don't think that a lot of people that are angry at Byleth, because there's a lot of arguing online where people who are happy about Byleth attacking people who didn't, and then likewise people who didn't want Byleth attacking those who did. So I kind of want to like clear the waters a little bit just to kind of see like where each side stands. And I wouldn't say that I'm upset that Byleth got in. I'm just more upset that it was like the final character.
Yeah, and for this pack at least, and it's gonna be for a while.
Yeah, and that's something that I think is frustrating, where you get excited about the final character. So like, if you look at like movies and stuff, where do you put the most exciting scene?
Oh yeah, obviously right after the climax and the downfall and everything. Yeah. That's like at the very end. That you want the exciting part. You want resolution.
Right, you want that payoff. You want that climb, right? That's how you make a good movie. Is you start off slow and you build up, and then you create a climax, and then you end it off, right? That's the point. That's how building a film works. It's like a roller coaster, right? And the way that this fighter pass started off was incredibly, like, really well done. It started off with Joker, great Joker. That's you open up with Joker, man. You're nuts.
Dude, the roar of Joker, because that was in the prime of a lot of Persona news. Like I think Royal got announced around that time, and it was at the Game Awards. Like that's the crowd you want to hype up.
Yeah, and they did it so well. And I probably said it on this show. I said it in personal chats, and I'll say it again. And I will not. To this day, I think the reveal of Joker was the best reveal they have ever done, because people didn't even know at first it was a Smash trailer. You see, all these other trailers, they always had like the split happen, and then you know, oh, this is Smash, right? So like, oh, this is exciting. You get excited. Joker had like a million synapses in everyone's brain go off right as the envelope turned to reveal that he was here. Because it was just Jeff Keighley being like, oh no, so that's what's happening. What's going on? Right, exactly. But then everyone thought, oh, Persona for Switch, or this is Persona Royal, and then, it made everyone intrigued, and they were like, okay, what is it? And they were thinking it was going right field, and then it went so left field it went out of the stadium in the best way possible. Yeah. Right? And that's how you open. And then the way it ended was just bleh.
Yeah, the way it ended was like, oh, another sword character. Because I looked at all the fighters from this pack, and Banjo's right in the middle, and he's just surrounded by pretty boy sword people. You got Joker, which is a pretty boy anime character. You got who was the second one? It was Hero. You got Hero, pretty boy sword character. You got Banjo, pretty boy. Pretty boy anime bear. Then you got Terry, and his art style is pretty boy anime boy. And then you got Byleth. So, like, you look at it and you're like, one of these things is not like the other. I'm wanting the next challenger pack to be like all platformers except for the middle one. Like it's gonna be like Crash, Spyro, Master Chief, and then it's gonna be like I don't know, Rayman and Dig Dug.
But what if I had to set it up perfectly? I would have put Banjo right at the end. I would have made the grand reveal Banjo, because because Joker was a great opener, right? Joker was fantastic, but I think Banjo at the end, because we haven't seen anything of Banjo, right? We haven't heard anything of Banjo. We haven't seen anything of Banjo. There's been absolutely nothing of Banjo and Kazooie. So to put Banjo-Kazooie at the end would literally be the best. And I like where Terry was too. Terry was a good choice, because Terry was a character that not a lot of people expected, but it did cater to a smaller fan base, which it makes sense. But I would have definitely swapped Banjo with Byleth 100%.
Personally, I would have done obviously Joker first, and then I would have I think I would go like Joker, Byleth, Terry, Hero, Banjo.
That I would have been happy with that.
Yeah, because if Banjo ended it, because the Banjo reaction was just as big as Joker, a little under, because they knew it was a Smash thing. But
Right.
even like people in Japan too, because when Hero was announced, people were like, "Oh, it's Hero, cool." Everyone in Japan was freaking out because Hero's bigger in Japan. Banjo was like worldwide, like everyone was excited for Banjo.
Yeah, not just because people thought it would just been North Americans excited for Banjo, but it wasn't.
No,
it was everyone.
I don't know if Byleth is like more popular in Japan or something, but it's Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem sells well everywhere. But I think people in Japan were also like, oh
yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, it was just like it was another sword fighter from Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah.
If it was another sword fighter that was Sora, I think people would have been okay with that. If it was another sword fighter, anybody else, but the fact that it was another sword fighting Fire Emblem character, everyone just went ugh.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's something.
Yeah, it's something what?
It was just something that was that we've seen so much already, right? Now people are defending and trying to say, "Oh, look at these different weapons that Byleth has. Look, they have this and that and the other." But it doesn't matter. It's still a weapon wielding sword fighter from Fire Emblem.
It's still Fire Emblem. Like, I don't know, man. At least we got the Cuphead Mii Gunner costume. I mean, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was cool to see.
Cool.
I like Nintendo still working with indie developers. Like we got Shovel Knight, we got Sans, we got Cuphead. I want to see more indie. Like I get that they can't have rosters because there's more reaction from AAA characters, but the fact that they're still in the game, that's like really, really cool.
Yeah, the fact that they're kind of like they're trying to give some form of a representation to the indie scene is really nice. But I still think that the one indie character that they might want to throw in there would be Shantae. I think Shantae would be able I think Shantae would be able to hold herself fairly strongly because she is a big, like in the indie scene, Shantae's huge.
I know Shantae's a spirit at least, but I don't know if that dequalifies her from anything else.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But speaking of Smash Bros, Smash Bros is one of many games on the Switch. Many.
Wait, what? The Switch?
The Switch has games. Did you know that?
Did you say many games?
Many games,
dude. No, you're pulling out the wrong crowd, man. The Switch has no games. This is coming from Alienware themselves. Okay.
Yeah. So Alienware tweeted out the tweet of, remember last week where we talked about the not Switch Alienware?
Oh yeah, the not so Switch.
The not so Switch, yeah. Well, they came out and said this. So somehow, according to trusted reviews, which is not so trustworthy after this.
Yeah, not so trusted anymore.
They gave the award for the best in show to the Alienware UFO, which is their Switch mimic. And trusted reviews and said something in their review, and Alienware tweeted out their quote, and oh boy, is it ever getting heat. The Nintendo Switch is cool, but the price and limited number of games on it isn't, which is why we fell in love with the Alienware concept UFO the moment we saw it at this CES. Oh, is there so many things so wrong with this comment? Where do I start?
What year do they think it is? Like, do they still think the Switch came out like last year? Like, oh, it came out like recently. There's no games for it. Like,
Breath of the Wild.
There was an ad on the Game Awards that said the Switch has games.
That's it. And literally everything, including The Witcher. Even The Witcher is being ported to this game.
The Switcher!
The Switcher. Perfect. I love it. Did you know that there's over 3,000 games on the Switch? Did you know that?
I'm not playing dumb. I honestly did not know that. What?
Over 3,000 games is on the Switch.
Wait. Okay, you said being ported to this thing. This thing isn't a PC? This whole time I thought it was just a PC, like a portable PC. This is a console?
Apparently, I don't know what they're talking about here. Like that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say it's like a console. Apparently, the UFO.
Sorry, I'm so dumbfounded. I thought this was just a PC.
Okay, so let's break this down. Now, this is, I think, the most alienating, no pun intended against Alienware, but the most alienating and most hypocritical comment that literally makes me want to spit acid is when they say, the Switch is cool, but the price and limited number of games on it isn't. But the price.
The
Think
price.
about this.
That's the thing.
But here's saying that coming from Alienware complaining about the price about the Switch. The Alien... Hold it.
That's a good point.
Hold my mouse. Hold on. Hold on a second. Alienware saying, oh, the price of the Switch is just not cool. You're upcharging $400 for a PC for LEDs. I'm serious. I remember I built a PC that was the exact same specs. In fact, it was better specs than an Alienware PC pre-built. Okay, it was the build for my PC. Okay, when I built it, because I was like, let me check out Alienware. When I built my PC, I spent $2,400 Canadian.
Okay.
The same PC through Alienware was $5,620. The same PC.
I can attest to this. People, I know this isn't on topic, but people, please, if you're buying a PC for gaming, for YouTube, for anything, do not buy a pre-built one. Just build it yourself. It's much cheaper and it's actually fun. Just don't. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, and if you can't build it, there are so many computer shops that will help you, that will charge a relatively small labor fee, might cost you $100, $200. You'll still save money at the end of the day and get a better PC overall.
Dude,
you still will.
Best Buy will do it for you. Just show up with your parts and say, hey man, can you help me put this together? He'll be like, yeah man, whatever. There you go.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of research, a little bit of cross-referencing, and you can save yourself hundreds of dollars.
It's like Legos. Just match up the pieces.
And Alienware is out here taunting this. They're ripping off the Switch. First, they're not even hiding it now. No. They're not even hiding it.
No, everyone was like, it looks like the Switch. They're not going to say anything. And they're like, nah, the Switch sucks, bro.
The Switch sucks. Ours is better. It's like, first off, like you said, literally Nintendo has a button on their keyboard that says lawsuit, right? Cease and desist immediately. And luckily this is a concept. This isn't for sale yet.
Oh, thank God. I hope it's not for sale.
I hope it doesn't go for sale, because as soon as it comes out, Nintendo's going to be all over that. But the fact that they're saying that the limited amount of games, which Nintendo Switch has over 3,000 games, and the fact that they're complaining about the price of the Switch, which isn't even that bad.
No, it's not. For the hybrid console that it is, I think $299 is well worth it.
It's worth it, and it's fine, it's worth it, it's great. And the fact that they're out here taunting that they're probably overheated pile of garbage that's going to cost $1,000. How much do you think this concept would cost from Alienware? You think $1,000?
No, I think that's being too generous. I want to say $1,500 to $2,000, because they're gonna be like, it's revolutionary and it's worth the price.
Yeah, I know, and that thing is gonna be so hot. You're gonna have a play session on that, and it's literally gonna melt everything around it. There's no way.
Is melting covered under warranty?
No.
What? I'm sorry. What?
It makes me so mad. And here's the thing. I'm the person that complains about a lot of Switch products because, in Canada, for a pair of Joy-Cons, it's $100 for, I want to punch myself in the head.
That's too much.
Right, that's way too much. And here I am, and I feel like an alien, but I'm, again, no pun intended, I feel like I keep making alien puns, referring to Alienware. I'm defending Nintendo's pricing to Alienware, because Alienware is egregiously stupid. And they deceive you with all these pretty lights and all this cool stuff. Hey, look at this, the Area 51. Look at it, dominate the game and make everything look so awesome and amazing. You're like, oh my, hold on. I'm actually gonna look this up right now. Hold on. Before we continue.
They want people to come to your house and be like, oh, he's an epic gamer. Look at those lights and nothing else.
Yeah, that's about it. Hold on, let me take a look here. I got, okay. So the Alienware, where is the Alienware Aurora? Apparently, hold on. So
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, so we got the Aurora. Okay, configurations. Let's see here. Yeah, so they're trying to sell the Aurora here with RTX ready with only 16 gigabytes of RAM. Man, 16 gigs for $1,600.
Are you... What? What?
For an i7 GTX 1660 Ti.
Dude, when I made my computer, like, after I added the GPU and everything, I think it was around, like, 430. And that's with 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, no, this thing's got 16 gigs of RAM, DDR4. That graphics card isn't even that great. Like, are you serious?
Wait, what card is it?
It's the GTX 1660.
All right, what's the processor?
The processor is a 9th gen Intel i7 9700.
Oh my god, really?
And they're charging, and that's on sale. The base price is $2,300.
Again, please do not buy a pre-built computer. Just build it yourself.
Please don't. Just don't. Please. But instant savings, 33% off. Oh golly gee. And and that's the old Aurora. That's not the new Aurora. The new Aurora. Oh my goodness. No way.
What do you see?
The Aurora with a 9th gen i7, NVIDIA GeForce 2070, so we got a good card.
Okay.
Okay, 2070, RTX 2070 with 8 gigs of graphic RAM, 16 gigs of RAM still, $2,950 American. That's $3,000. $3,000.
I think that's a weird way to say too much. Wow. Wow. Oh my god, dude.
Alienware, if you want to talk about pricing, please don't. Please.
No. And, well, speaking of don't and confusing messes,
Yep.
hey, Canadian guy, did you watch the new Morbius trailer?
I did.
Yeah, who's making it again?
Sony.
Are you sure?
I'm not.
Me neither. So, are you familiar with Morbius, like, at all?
So, not really. So, for those who don't, so start from the top to basically give an idea of why this is confusing as well.
Okay, so right now, there are two cinematic universes going on with Marvel. We have the MCU, which is what the Avengers have, and anything relating to that. And then we have the Sony MCU, which involves Spider-Man characters. So while Sony and Marvel had an agreement to have Spider-Man be in the MCU for X amount of movies, and they're extending that to Spider-Man 3. They also had their own movies in the Spider-Man universe going on. They started with Venom. If you saw Venom, you knew Spider-Man wasn't in the movie. That's because it was its own self-contained story, which was cool. Now, they planned for more movies after that. Morbius was being one of them. Morbius, if you don't know, is just a vampire from the Marvel Comics. He was in the Spider-Man 3 video game. He was one of the extra bosses and whatnot. He had a whole storyline with him. Now, the thing that's confusing that we're about to get into is the Sony universe and the Marvel universe are completely separate. They're not together. That's what we've been told. Yeah. And in the trailer, there are two instances that has confused the entire internet, and we'll get into that. The first one being there is a shot where he's walking down an alley, and on the side of the building, there's a screenshot of Spider-Man, but it's PS4 Spider-Man. It's a screenshot from the game, but to make it even more confusing, he's wearing the Sam Raimi suit, which was 3 reboots ago.
Yeah, so the Sam Raimi suit, just for those who don't understand, is remember the very, very, very first real-life Spider-Man movies?
Yes,
the
with
one
Tobey Maguire and all
with
them.
Tobey Maguire. That's the same Sam Raimi suit. So the very first, not the Andrew Garfield and not the Tom Holland version, this is the very, very, very first Spider-Man, and he's walking down an alleyway with him on the wall. Now, just to make sure to clarify for those, it's Morbius, right?
Yes, Morbius.
Morbius is a villain in the Spider-Man universe. He's in the realm of like the Green Goblin and all that stuff. Just making sure, because for me, I'm still catching up myself on this.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still learning about this. So first issue, we see Sam Raimi's suit on the wall in the alleyway.
Just randomly, and it does say murderer on it. Like that, that's spray painted on it. No context for that. So that's another thing I didn't even think about. Spider-Man's been established in this universe because someone labeled him a murderer.
Right.
So he's been established already.
Mm-hmm. So, and I have an idea to tie into that. But we'll get into that. Get to the second part. Now, I will admit, the first time I saw the Spider-Man on the side of the wall, I didn't think too much of it. But the second thing is definitely where things go out of whack for me. So go ahead.
Yes. So the second thing is at the very end of the trailer, you see Morbius walking down an alleyway, and you hear this guy talking, and you're like, "Oh, I've heard that voice before." And then the camera just cuts, and it's Michael Keaton. It's Michael Keaton's Vulture. Like, they don't say it's Vulture, but obviously it's Vulture. He's wearing the same outfit that he wore in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man: Homecoming, and he just looks at him. He goes, "Hey, you tired of doing the good guy thing? What's up, Doc?" And that's it. That's how it ends. So that alone ties the MCU to the Marvel universe, and before I get on to why that's a huge no-no, go on with what you were going to say.
Mm-hmm. So, when they have the spray paint murderer, right, it could be referring to what happened at the end of Homecoming. Now, I don't want to spoil it, but at the end of Homecoming, Spider-Man was blamed for something, right?
Oh, are you talking about? You meant Far From Home?
Far From Home, sorry. Far From Home.
No, you're good.
Spider-Man Far From Home. He was blamed for something, right? He was blamed for the death of a certain person. Now, what is interesting to me is that does tie in, because then that would make sense as to why he got spray painted murderer, right?
Yes.
But then again, that just increases the confusion because that's in the Marvel Comics universe.
Yes.
And not the Sony universe.
So the big thing that's going on with Sony and Marvel is, I'm not sure how familiar you are with this involving licensing issues, but there is a term called like freezing, where, for example, if Marvel at the MCU decides to put in Sony's Venom into their universe, that freezes the character. So Sony and Marvel both cannot use that interpretation of Venom anymore in their movies, because that's a breach of contract. So, for example, if Sony were to put in Tom Holland's Spider-Man in their Morbius movie just out of nowhere while the MCU is still going on, that freezes the character, so they have to come up with another reboot. That's why you have like MCU's interpretations of Mary Jane and like his best friend and Flash. They have all those interpretations because they're different. They're extremely different. They're portrayed differently, so they can't get frozen. So they had to sit down with a list of characters that each company could use and a list of characters that they couldn't use. Morbius and Venom being one of them. And Sony also confirmed that there was going to be a movie called Silver and Black, which is a movie about Silver Sable and Black Cat. And then then Sony said that they're canceling that and splitting them off into their own movies. So we have that going on too. Right. So the fact that Vulture is in this would technically mean that he's frozen, but they're still using him. Yeah, Marvel's aware of this, I assume.
Oh, I would assume. Right?
Duh, yeah.
Well, the trailer's been out now for a few days, almost a week now, if I remember correctly. So even if this is a shock, Marvel would have said something already, and we haven't heard jack. We haven't heard anything about what's going on. And again, I am confused. I really am, because it doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever if what you're saying is true, unless they made some proviso, unless they made some change, unless something's going on in the background. But everyone who's been keeping up with the Spider-Man issues and the copyright problems between Marvel, Disney, and Sony, it's just been a mess, right? I mean, we had that standoff that happened back in what was it, September?
Oh yeah, the public stunt. We're like, hey, they're not giving us enough money. Oh, we're on your back, Disney. And everyone was like, oh no, it was Sony.
Yeah, it was all bad. It was just all bad on all sides. It wasn't just Sony. It wasn't just Disney. They were both having a fit. Everyone lost their minds, and then they revitalized Spider-Man. And I'm looking at this, and I'm just thinking to myself, the only way for this to work, in my mind, which breaches the contract unless they changed it, is that if they literally they go into the multiverse theory again, and that there's the Sony multiverse and then there's the MCU multiverse, where because if you look into the Spider-Verse, right, you got Gwen Spider-Girl, which is Gwen Stacy. You got even Spider-Pig. You got Penny. You got and then you got Miles, right? Mm-hmm. You got all different kinds of Spider-Men and women, and they could play it off as Sony saying like, "Hey, the Sony era is one thread." Because remember, when Spider-Man gets his head put into the machine, you could see millions of threads all interacting. And each thread is a different timeline, is a different dimension. It's something, and there was thousands of threads. And the only way for this to work is that if they say this is the Sony thread, this is the Marvel thread. And that's it. That's the only way I can see that working, because... or they somehow, for some reason, have decided to come together and become best friends and sing Kumbaya and make something work. Because honestly, I don't see that happening. I really don't. It's been always between Sony and Marvel and everyone. It's always been high tension when it came to Spider-Man, and when it came to regulation or copyright stuff. It's always been.
I don't know if you knew this, but for Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home, one of the deals was I think it was Marvel. No. Sony gets 95% of all the box office sales for the Spider-Man movies that Marvel's doing, and Marvel gets 5% of the ticket sales, and they get all the revenue from the merchandising. So in Morbius, in the movie trailer, you saw that it said from the studio that brought you Spider-Man: Far From Home and Spider-Man: Homecoming. That is true, because Marvel executives did use the Sony studio and production team to make those movies. So yes, that is technically a Columbia Pictures movie. And for people who want a good video to explain all of this in a lot better fashion, there's a video from a channel called Nerdstalgic, which our buddy Jordan Fringe actually works on, I believe. Is that right?
He set the idea up. I don't know if he's exclusively still working on it, but it is ran by Tyler the Creator as well.
Yes, it's run by Tyler the Creator, and Jordan Fringe did help start this channel. But it's a video called "Why Disney Won't Buy Back Spider-Man," and this was during the time when Sony and Disney were having that fight online. So this, keep in mind, this is before we knew that they reached an agreement. But it's a really good video that explains everything very thoroughly, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm just confused. I mean, we'll just have to see what goes on. Hopefully we'll see some cool stuff, because all that matters really is if they do something right by the fans. I don't really care what studio does what, as long as the movies are good and the fans are happy. That's all I care about.
That's about it.
Still waiting for Venom 2. Hopefully there's something with that.
Yeah, hopefully they do well with that. But that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wumpa Time. We are everywhere now. We are on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, or that's not even a thing anymore. Apple Music, but we're there. We're there. If it plays music, we're there. Just make sure to look up Wumpa Time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to be joining with you guys in your ears once more next week. When hopefully we're happy. We're actually happy this week because last week there was not a lot of gaming news.
Yeah, no, like I'm sad about the season of delays, but thank you for the season of delays because we can talk about something.
yeah, because it was pretty dry last week and the week before too. It was all pretty dry, and now the news is starting to kick back up again. So hope you guys all enjoyed this. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.